Live from Los Angeles. It's time to get inside the Gamers Dome with your host, Scott Gerhardt. Bringing you all of today's gaming news and information all in one place. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the Gamers Dome.
Welcome everyone to episode 39 of the Gamers Dome. I am your host, Scott Gerhardt, and joining us this week, let's bring him up, we have Pat Koala. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Scott.
I said it right this time, right?
You did.
Yay! Finally. Good.
So you can actually hear me now.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Oh, I need to turn off Twitch TV now. Trying to watch, and it's freaking me out.
You're watching yourself and seeing me at the same time. That's scary.
Yeah, it's kind of really creepy.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of doing it as well, just because I don't trust it. Because nothing ever works the way it's supposed to.
Well, yeah. I mean, until about 30 seconds ago, you couldn't hear me. So.
and on Twitch, they can hear you, right? Have you figured out that they can hear you, or did you have it tuned down?
I have it potted way down. That would really mess with me. To hear that loop back into my ears, that would not be good. Hearing myself once is more than enough.
Well, it's because it's more than anything because I'm making sure I have the settings right. None of my settings. So what?
Let's take a look. Let's see if I can hear myself in the background.
Right,
Unmute.
Yeah. So if you unmute,
I am coming through on Twitch. I can hear it.
Okay, then perfect. So, yay, settings. I once had an entire show where I actually had the wrong microphone set up for the entire show on Twitch, and the show did Twitch off my webcam.
I did that myself when we were doing a live broadcast. Right, first we had started it, and we were doing it, broadcasting a charity event, and had everything set up, and then plugged in the webcam, and then the webcam said, "I'm going to overwrite all of your settings." Whole broadcast on the webcam. No idea. 4 hours.
Wow, no, 4 hours. Nice.
Yeah, people are like, "We can't really hear you." Okay, well, how about this? Well, and then just not enough people saying enough. So, yeah, it was 4 hours of just. Oh no, he's got sound effects.
Oh yes. I have sound effects. I don't know if I should use too many of them, because
you might break more things.
Well, I mean, really, how relevant is a
pig sound? Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that should come in handy pretty much all the time, because there's stuff we blow up all the time.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I've figured out the one I need to absolutely just hotkey.
You're wrong. Incorrect, sir.
You have failed.
Need to get the well, in honor of you having been on there, we need to get the Price is Right fail trombone.
Yeah, I've got it somewhere. Probably not on this board.
Of course you do.
Of course, considering how this show goes sometimes, maybe this one's more appropriate. You stupid mother. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're getting that out of our system. I'm sorry, is this a gaming show or is this fun with sound effects? Okay.
I think it's usually a little bit of both.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Pat. Welcome,
hey, Scott.
Welcome back to the show. It's been a while. I'm happy to have you. Now, how was your week?
Not too bad. Dealing with a sick munchkin today, but other than that, she's in bed, so now it's not too bad. Busy at work, and but I've had some good gaming time recently, so we'll get into that when we get into what I'm playing. Yeah. I had a nice email this morning, and I'll get into that.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I understand the work thing. I work for an internet retail company. You know what? I don't care. I'll plug them. I work for www.scottevest.com. And I can plug them because I actually love their stuff. I work for them because I love them. But the whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday thing, like basically our biggest weekend of the year, pretty much meant that I had no life.
That why should that be any different than normal?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pat opens the show being vicious to Scott. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's a great time to be a gamer, though. I'll tell you that.
Isn't it?
So many between video and board and everything. So many good things going on.
I was very unhappy at the fact that my schedule would not allow me to go to BGG Con. I would have loved to have been there. I guess that was like a week and a half ago now.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, something like that. It was a little bit before Thanksgiving. I don't know. But yeah, it was somewhere around there, and I've heard a lot of stories from people who went. And we'll actually have a future guest, which is going to be on that was there, a developer. I was actually listening to another podcast that had a guest on that brought a game that he got at the con on. I know this is getting all like loopy, but yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're just not gonna get to it much tonight. Why not?
Oh, fine. Be that no. There's far too many other things.
Yeah, I know. So we've finally crossed over into the nether, a brave new world where Xbox Ones and PS4s are in people's living rooms and they are playing them and apparently selling a lot.
Oh, without question. I think I saw today PlayStation reveal its numbers after the European release to be 2.1 million.
Yeah.
So Xbox is keeping their number close to the chest, though. So I don't think they've crossed that 2 million mark yet.
Well, I don't know. I actually saw a report that looked at the Black Friday sales for, I think it was Walmart. It might have been Walmart and Kmart. I don't remember. It was another one where the top two sellers were Xbox One and Xbox 360. I think
I did see that. I saw that report as well, and it was a fairly sizable margin, but I think availability affected that a lot.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I think right now availability is affecting everything. I mean, you're not finding Xbox Ones and PS4s on the shelves, and it's not a matter of whether or not someone wants to buy it or doesn't want to buy it. The inventory does not quite meet the demand right now, and it'll be a little while before it does, I think.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, I think the Xbox One's inventory is meeting demand much more effectively, because I think I'm seeing a couple of those every day through talking with friends that work at game stores and going into places on lunch and stuff and seeing what's going on. I'm seeing quite a few every day, one at least a case, which is I think they're 3 to a case now. So you get a couple of them, 3 of them every day. So that's helpful, but PlayStation 4s, you're just seeing nothing. I know one of my local game stores had on Black Friday had just an enormous amount of Xbox Ones, and they had them through till 5-6 o'clock at night on Friday, but they had no PlayStation 4s. So it's whether or not it's the demand or what it is, if it's PlayStation holding back or not producing enough, and Microsoft is. So it'll be interesting to see if Microsoft actually announces their number and tells us what they got.
Well, you've got to think at some point they'll probably come out with it. But I don't know. They do tend to be a little tight-lipped.
Yeah, I think because they're not also in the European market that I know of. I don't think they've launched over in Europe yet. I could be wrong on that. If I am, please correct me. But that's going to hurt them. That's going to help PlayStation's numbers a lot because they held stuff back, I'm sure, to get to the European market, and not to mention it's PAL region coded anyway. So you're dealing with that, and so you're seeing some more inflated numbers because of that. But it will be interesting to see how it goes. neither one of them are available in Japan, which just made me go crazy.
Yeah. Well, how about something that is available and is running over here? And so we all know Steam. I hope we all know Steam. The Valve guys there. Uh, they've got 65 million members and got 7 million of them simultaneously logged on. Oh, I believe this was on December 1st as part of their autumn sale. Exact number 7,190,547.
Absolutely crazy. I mean, I've seen 1 in 2 million at a time at peak times, but over 7 million people on Steam active at one time. I mean, their servers have got to just be the best around. I mean, they've got to rival Google and everybody, because if you're running 7 million people concurrently and you're not crashing, that's studly, because I don't think Warcraft was ever able to do it, and I don't think any MMO was able to do it. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I actually, in something that was completely unrelated to gaming, ended up getting a copy of Valve's employee handbook and looking at the way that they're structured, and it's weird. They don't have bosses. Like, it's literally the entire company is flat. You are flat all the way through. Peer reviews determine whether or not you get a promotion or get booted or stuff like that. And it seems like an interesting model where people all get together, and a lot of people probably just say, hey, listen, we need to put together something that we want to play on, because we don't want our own stuff crashing. And I don't know. You don't really hear too much bad about Steam and the way things go out. And I was very shocked when I read about the way the company functions. And I'm really thinking that a lot of the good and a lot of the ability to get servers set up and make sure that it works is probably contingent on that. Their ability to just anyone in the company can green light anything. That's just the way it works. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I've seen that make its rounds around the internet a few times as well. I've seen that's been out there. It does. It seems like an extremely interesting company to work for, if not an awesome company to work for, because everyone has free reign. I mean,
Well,
you're either gonna live or die by your own doing. So,
well, hopefully my boss doesn't hear this when I say that after reading that, I made sure to figure out where Steam's headquarters was and make sure that it was actually too far away for me to try to apply. I was like, ooh, that'd be fun.
yeah, it's definitely too far away for me to apply.
Yes. Okay, so my next story is not a gaming story. I don't care that it's not a gaming story.
They sell games.
They do sell games. They sell everything. It's just current events, and this, I think, is just going to be a fun discussion. Amazon revealed the Octocopter drone, that delivery system. So Amazon got some free advertising on CBS and 60 Minutes to run this ad about a futuristic technology that may or may not ever actually get approved. Thoughts?
Wow. Like, number one, I can't imagine what the charge for this would be. Or maybe they're going to be a higher privileged version of Prime, because they are calling it Prime Air. So, but just everything about it looks just fascinating. My only question was when I saw the end of this clip are those containers disposable, or are you supposed to return those somehow? But it looks absolutely awesome. And imagine if you could get something delivered in 30 minutes. If you're like, oh, okay, I want a game. But okay, GameStop doesn't have it. Amazon does. Oh, Prime Air. Oh, it's a $20 charge. Okay. It's something that they're going to make boatloads of money off if they actually do it. And obviously, you'd have to be within a certain radius of their warehouses and things like that. But I think if in major cities like LA and things like that, they could make just mountains of money off of this.
Yeah, and I'm happy I live in LA. Yeah, it was interesting. The general consensus seems to be that it was more a publicity stunt than anything. That this won't ever actually come to pass, but right before the biggest shopping day of the year, or the shopping weekend of the year, they get out this 60 Minutes story and get Amazon on everyone's. Not that Amazon's not on everyone's brain anyway. I mean, it seems almost lately I have more days where I get Amazon packages than not, because Prime just makes it easy. You're just like, oh, I just need this. Okay, buy it, done, easy.
2 days later, you've got it.
Yep. Sometimes even faster than that. Sometimes you go Prime and you get it 1 day later. You're like, whoa, that was awful nice. So,
The advantages of living in the LA area.
yes.
Actually, I think their second. I don't even think their largest distribution center is on the West Coast. I think it's like in Tennessee or something. I think it's their biggest one.
Well,
They have a couple different spots. So,
well, I definitely think that more than anything, Amazon's hearing a lot of
without question.
yeah. Okay. So here's the question. Is there actually any way possible to smoothly segue from Amazon to Lindsay Lohan?
It's all about the money. I guess it's dollars. That's
Yeah. Well,
sure.
Speaking of some serious, so Lindsay Lohan is suing Grand Theft Auto 5, and she is demanding, quote, serious money. They're saying that they used her image without her permission, and they're drafting the lawsuit. It hasn't actually been filed yet. TMZ, the most reputable news source on the planet, them and the Inquirer, they do point out that GTA's the box art does feature a woman holding a cell phone who somewhat resembles Lohan. Though I'm going to be real honest, it's somewhat. For one, Lindsay Lohan hasn't looked this good in a long time.
Yeah.
No, number two, even when she did look good, I think this is a little bit of a stretch. And I guess there's also a mission that has players taking home a Lohan-esque. Did I really? I could have gone my whole life and never used the word Lohan-esque. Lohan-esque character to escape the paparazzi.
Yeah, I'm honestly not remembering that one. I remember one maybe that was when you're taking a picture of her, but I don't remember taking her home. I do remember chasing one that kind of maybe sort of could have been her, but this is such a stretch that, I mean, there's plenty of disclaimers that, any resemblance to people living or dead is purely coincidental, and this is just Lindsay trying to take advantage of something that's popular in the media and trying to get her name back out there in a way that, just to get her being talked about. Same way you were speculating about Amazon getting their name out just before the holiday. She's just trying to get her name back out, period, because she's been
Irrelevant?
basically non-existent.
Yeah, reasonably irrelevant for a while.
Well, when you're a train wreck and a drug addict, it tends to happen. Doesn't mean you can't come back from it, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if nothing else, honestly, it's not bad for GTA either. The Rockstar's getting their product talked about, and not that they need a lot, but I mean, even major companies advertise. Coke advertises.
Yeah, well, and it's getting it back out at the right time, because Grand Theft Auto is an older game at this point. I mean, it's 3 months old almost. So,
They want
Yeah, maybe it's still pretty popular for Christmas, but it's not bad to have it being talked about in the open market right now.
Yeah, I agree. So, a topic we can all agree on: Star Wars. uh, so, EA is developing an open world Star Wars game. I'm skeptical.
That's not even the word I'd use. I'm not. There's no chance I'm even remotely confident that this works. They've had their shot at it. They screwed it up because EA's problem is they want to get a game out at a certain time. They don't care about how good it is. They don't care about anything like that. Star Wars: The Old Republic should have been an amazing game. They had the perfect lore to work off of. They had all these things. And then EA's like, nope, we need it to be out by this date, and I don't care what you say if it's done or not. I mean, BioWare flat out came out and said this game was not done at launch. It was barely done a year later. So it's, they're going to rush the deal. They're going to rush the game out. They're going to try and tie it in with the new movies, and they're going to screw it up again.
Nope, that sounds about right. I don't know. We've agreed, disagreed on stuff in the past. I think this is an agree. I want Star Wars stuff to do well. I want people to put in the time and effort, and I want people to get this wonderful game that they run out and play. And man, they just didn't really hit it so much with when Old Republic hit, and I'm unfortunately, I think it just may fall under the category of like a gimmick MMO or a gimmick game where, yeah, you'll get some people to play it, but overall it's people will just get tired of it, and people who aren't Star Wars fans for the most part aren't going to touch it.
Now I will say that the article doesn't mention that it is an MMO. I don't think
That's true. I am jumping to conclusions here.
Right, and that's, I mean, I jumped to the same thing until I started looking at this article a little more closely. If this is a Skyrim-esque type single player, maybe a little bit of multiplayer game, I may not have as big of a problem with that, because it would be fun to just have hey, you can go tool around the Star Wars universe and the time frame setting and things like that. There are a lot of things that could make this good, but I just have zero confidence in EA to do anything right. Although they are finally letting BioWare put out the things they want to put out for the Old Republic, and I'm considering resubscribing because tomorrow they start open space PvP.
Ooh.
Literally out in space,
Ooh.
not on rails.
Nice. So, I'm old. Maybe not old by some people's standards, but I'm old. I remember being 11 years. Was I 11? Maybe I was 9. I was young. I was young, and the Nintendo Entertainment System came out, and over time, I've pretty much owned them all: the NES, the SNES, Game Boys, Genesis, all of that good stuff. And now we have the Retro N5, which will allow us to play all of those games, of which I still own. They're sitting in storage, but I still own them. I was psyched about this. I was less psyched to hear that it's been delayed until 2014.
I will say, in reading the article, I'm glad they did it this way and because they found some faulty pins, which would pretty much make the console useless. So I'm glad they found it now, and it seems like it'll be a pretty easy fix. So I think it'll probably only be a month, maybe 2 months delay, because they are still saying Q1 of 2014. So sounds like it'll be could be a pretty easy fix, and you'll see people have these in their hot little hands. I'm not gonna lie, I actually had no idea about this, and now I'm going to be consuming mountains of information about this because this would be awesome.
Oh yeah. Admittedly, I guess you always want, but I would have really liked them to have included a in television. slot.
Wow.
I still have a box in storage with my Intellivision and a crap load of cartridges in there. And you know what? Sometimes Daddy's got to get his frog bog on. little bomb squad action.
Wow. I never had a television, and I played once or twice. My uncle, I think, had one, but it was such an odd system with the odd controller. Was it the Intellivision or the Intellivision 2 that had like the number pad controller?
Oh, Intellivision had that.
Did it? Yeah.
Well,
that's just crazy.
So did the wildly popular ColecoVision, which I owned one of those as well.
Here's the other thing that had it: the Atari 5200.
52, yep.
The 5200 had a number pad on it, and I owned one of those. I don't remember how I ended up getting it. I think Dad brought it home from work. Somebody was getting rid of it or something, and I played that. There's a couple good games on there. I think there was even a Star Wars game or something. I played the heck out of.
I love getting nostalgic about old video games back when I actually had time to really devote to playing them, more so than I have now. So one more thing that I would like to mention here in our news section, because it's coming up this weekend. The wonderful people over at Legion are putting on Grand Prix Dallas or Grand Prix DFW, whatever you want to call it. It's the Magic Grand Prix. It's the first one of the new season. It's in I'd say it's in Dallas, but it's not. It's actually in Fort Worth. That's why they kind of have to call it DFW. But it's kind of home for me. I'm looking forward to going and being a part of it. I would highly encourage everyone who is interested to head over to Legion events and get yourself pre-registered, because they're not taking day of registrations. It's standard. Everyone has a standard deck who plays Magic. So go sign up and play, especially if you've never played the Grand Prix. It is a tremendous experience. It is a lot of fun. And you can find me with my Gamers Dome shirt, and you can say hello, but preferably not while I'm in the middle of a match. So, okay. So what we're going to do at this point is I just tend to move. We're just moving on here because normally we do a lot of like commercial breaks and stuff, but we're playing with formats lately. So there is not going to be one. So we're actually going straight into what would be a quote unquote segment 2. So on Saturday, I was able to get in touch with Paul and Storm. So I'm hoping that a lot of people listening to this know what Paul and Storm is. And I've just now realized that there is a picture of me from a completely different angle on your Skype picture.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it and I realize like there's the little one of me and I can't get rid of it. It's moved. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's the Skype feed and the little picture. Ah, I know.
We're putting baby in the corner on this one. Okay. I sat down with them and was I had a chance to interview them, and it was a geek out moment for me because I've been a fan of theirs for a while, and I could talk about it or I could just simply play the interview. So it's we got a good 20 minutes or so on this interview here, so we're gonna mute our mic, black ourselves out here so you don't have to look at us do whatever we're doing for the next 20 minutes, and we're gonna play the interview for you guys. It's a pretty good listen, so here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Oh, you guys both sound like morning CJs.
Well, let me tell you, Paul, we got some exciting things planned.
We're coming at you live.
That's my engineer, Carl, by the way. I am Scott. Thank you guys so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Thanks
Sure.
for having us.
So let's start with Storm. I want to know how did you two actually meet?
We were originally in a doo-wop group put together by just another guy. That group broke up, and four of us formed another a cappella group called Da Vinci's Notebook. And that stayed together, became a professional thing. We had all had day jobs, and we quit them to do the professional a cappella group. And then that ended around 2004. We didn't want to get real jobs, so we picked up instruments and wrote new songs and became Paul and Storm.
So why did you two just stay together instead of either like going out on your own or going with anyone else in Da Vinci's Notebook or anything like that?
Well, partly this is Paul talking. Partly we just didn't want to grow up and get real jobs yet. And also, over the course of our working together in Da Vinci's Notebook, Storm and I sort of developed. I mean, we realized pretty early on we were very compatible. We had very similar upbringings, and we had complementary but somewhat differing tastes and styles that tended to work well with each other. So we did, the vast majority of the songwriting for Da Vinci's Notebook. So we had that part of the partnership already in place. So we didn't have to relearn how to work with each other because we'd been doing it well for over a decade. And we just sort of both had the same interest in continuing performing. And we thought, well, we've tried the group thing. Let's try the duo thing because we know we can, get along for years at a time without a problem. So let's see if we can make that our job.
Oh, that's awesome. So I know I first really heard about you guys when you guys were doing Wootstock. So let's go back to Storm here. Tell us a little bit about how did that actually come to be?
That was, we were looking to tour the West Coast, and we decided we didn't want to do it just by ourselves. We had recently become friends with, or actually, Paul, if you want to take over, I get the sequence a bit mixed up.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, we had known Will for some time, and already knew that he, did, read, passages from his books and just generally was really good at giving talks at cons and such. And we thought maybe he'd be interested in working with us. And one of the places we were interested in going was San Francisco, where we had just recently met Adam Savage. And it was one of those dominoes toppling over each other where we said to each other, well, if we're going to be there and we're going to be in San Francisco, let's see if Adam wants to do it. And he was all for it. And then we thought, well, if Adam wants to do it, why don't we make a whole big event out of it and just bring in a bunch of friends, because we had a number of different people in the San Francisco area and Los Angeles area who we knew and were talented and we'd love to bring in. And it just became this big sort of evening of, we call it nerd vaudeville, where it was just, 6 or 7 or 10 different acts. And it went so well those first couple of shows, and we had such a good time doing it. We were like, we do not want to stop doing this. So whenever it's possible, we want to get together and put on this kind of show. Unfortunately, whenever it's possible, lately has only ever been at San Diego Comic-Con every year and at San Francisco Sketchfest, which is usually in January and February of each year. Those have been the only 2 times where it's been possible to get the 4 of us together in one place. So it's a little more limited. It's not that we don't want to tour it around. It's just, between our schedule and there being 2 working actors, as 2 of the co-founders, it's very tough to try and get it around to other places.
No, I understand. I actually went to the show you guys did at the Largo. But Will couldn't be there, but you guys had Dr. Demento. So that's a fair enough substitute. I suppose if you're going to have to sub in someone for Will, it might as well be a legendary radio host. Yeah, that was one of the more enjoyable nights I've had in a long time. Okay, so let's move on a little bit to Learning Town. This was quite an interesting series. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was the concept was awesome. I mean, did you have this idea and present it to Geek and Sundry, or did they come to you asking, or how did this exactly come to be so that you ran this web series?
We had become friends over the years with Kim Evey, producer of the Guild, and also Felicia, and had always said, "Oh yeah, we should do something sometime." And we had worked on a pitch that was like a web office musical series that it never quite went anywhere. And then when Geek and Sundry came around, because of YouTube providing funding for Geek and Sundry, we decided this is the perfect opportunity to do a series. And they were really great about, and we kind of developed the idea at that point and said, well, why don't we take this idea we had and change it completely? And we worked with a friend of ours, the writer Josh Kagan, and with Kim Evey as well, and then Sean Becker, the director. These are all folks in the Geek and Sundry Knights of Good Felicia Day universe at the time, and really built it up from scratch.
I love the way it turned out. It was.
So do we, actually. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
it was,
we love it.
The beautiful part of it was, I mean, we had never run, we'd never written a web series or any type of, episodic show like that before. And somehow what ended up on screen is pretty much exactly what was in all of our collective minds, which is incredible in the world of TV. That just doesn't happen, it's not to say Geek and Sundry didn't have, the producers didn't have notes and influence, but all their notes were things for, making it reasonable for the budget. And, maybe you shouldn't plan to have 15 elephants walk through this scene, but content wise, they really let us do what it is we were hoping to do. And, we're just so glad we had the opportunity to put something like that. Like, I still go back and look at it every once in a while, and I cannot believe that it became an actual thing.
Well, Geek and Sundry has you officially listed right now as, quote, on hiatus. So my question is will there be a second season, or is there anything else in the works?
Go ahead, Storm.
We would certainly love to do another one. We're very glad for the one season we were able to do. But it's really, it's Geek and Sundry who would produce it. And we don't have any specific plans. We have some ideas on what we might do, and you never know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know of any plans on their end, at least as of right now. But it also, it took us 3 years to get that on the air, so it's not exactly a quick process. So who the heck knows? But even in the worst case, if it never happens again, at least we had the glory that was the first season.
No, absolutely.
But we'd certainly love to do it again.
Oh yeah,
totally.
Oh no, and I can tell you, speaking for the fans, we'd love to see you guys do it again.
Thanks.
So, man, I keep losing track as to who was talking last year. I have to keep looking over at Skype.
That's okay.
Okay. So I went to the movies this last summer, and I was watching this cute little cartoon movie, Despicable Me 2, and all of a sudden, these minions started singing something that sounded peculiarly like another Irish drinking song. Needless to say, there was a little bit of a geek out moment for me there. Tell me, how in the heck did that one happen?
That was a flash of lightning, pretty much. The factual answer is that we were contacted more or less out of the blue by the movie studios, who were interested in using this song in the movie. And sort of the truth of it is, we've been at this music thing, for so long. I guess it was inevitable that something that we did would make good. But it was a real joy. This was the first time we've ever had a major motion picture credit like that. And remember going the day it opened to watch the movie, which was delightful, the movie itself, even without our song.
Yeah, that was kind of a bonus. Like, it's nice enough to have your song used in a major Hollywood motion picture. It's even nicer to have it used in a movie that doesn't suck.
No, it was great, and I kind of feel like it captures a little bit about what you two are about, the way the Minions did it, because it's a little silly, it's fun, and that's a little bit about what you two seem to be all about.
Yeah, that's kind of our MO, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, in our communications with the studio and the director afterwards, that was the comment. Was it almost seems like we had written it just for the movie, we just didn't know it.
Okay, so Paul, let's get into the Kickstarter now here. Ball Pit. what is it, and why are you guys going with Kickstarter?
Okay, Ball Pit is our next CD. It's got a bunch of new songs on it, as well as a number of songs that we have released over the past year or so that just haven't been on any CD yet. We went with Kickstarter because that's what everybody's doing these days, and we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. But also, really, the reason we went with Kickstarter was being independent musicians. The usual pattern is just you put together the money, you record a CD, and you throw it out there, and you hope that people like it. You know that you have a certain fan base that will like it, and you hope that it sort of catches some fire somewhere, or you at least grab onto some new fans one way or another. And we wanted to try and give the release of this CD a bit more of a splash. We wanted to be able to do things like music videos, which it turns out are quite expensive. Even when you're cutting every corner, they still can come in quite. They're not cheap to get good music videos. I mean, you can record something on your iPhone, but for an actual music video that people might want to watch that aren't directly related to you. So we realized that Kickstarter, having garnered the fan base that we have, we're by no means actually famous in the real world, but we have, within our niche, so to speak, we have a certain degree of fame, and if you want to call it that, leverage, that we thought maybe we could garner the support to help make these things happen and help get the Paul and Storm brand or the word of Paul and Storm out there a little more broadly. So this was really the best and easiest way to fund these types of things like music videos, and some of these other projects that we've always wanted to get off the ground, but would have been logistically and or financially just too much of a hassle to do unbidden, like our Extra Balls CD, which we've always wanted to do a bunch of cover songs with various musician friends we've met over the past decade or two. And this finally gives us a reason to do it because people have already paid us to do it. So now we have to.
Yeah, and the RPG app, which the soundboard app is something that we've literally had on the drawing board. There's actually a drawing board that we have this written on.
There is. It's a piece of slate.
For years.
It was Storm's grandma's drawing board, actually.
It was. We only put the most serious things on that. But 3 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, when we first came up with the idea in the wake of PAX Prime 2011, I believe it was, when we'd done, we were bards for their Live Acquisitions Inc. D&D game, where we played little songs and little colorations to their game, and thought, wouldn't it be great if we could make a whole bunch of these sounds, put them on an app that a DM or just players could use during their sessions to just make it really even that much more fun when you're playing, or when you're at the grocery store, or you're at a funeral, wherever it is, that you can just make things that much more fun and interesting.
It's almost like you had my interview questions in front of me and wanted, and we're just answering
Well, we've
them.
been doing this a long time, sir.
What?
And we read minds.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I didn't account for the for that part. Okay, so $350,000. I'm really hoping that we get up to there, because if there's one thing,
So are we.
if there's something I want to see, it's a Paul and Storm ice cream and guacamole truck.
Oh my God, yes. We are right now, not at this very moment, but we are planning that on the off chance that it happens. And there is so much involved with it. It's crazy, but it would be so much fun. And we really think that, we would try to make it into either a short documentary or a multi-part little web series. We don't know exactly what, but we know, that giving away ice cream and guacamole around the country is, well, who wouldn't want to do that?
Exactly. And we'll see what sort of, good deeds and or shenanigans we can get up to in the various places that we go to with our free ice cream and guacamole.
And we would note that most of that money, the vast majority, is not actually going to us. Most of it is, particularly for the ice cream guacamole truck tour, going to all the people and equipment that it
Yeah.
would take to make it happen.
And actually, a good 200,000 of it just goes towards avocados. They're amazingly expensive.
Oh God, yeah, we have to get the best avocados.
Yeah, you get the good ones.
Now the question is will you somehow get guacamole flavored ice cream?
You know, that's been a topic of discussion, is exactly what kind of ice cream. You can go the ice cream novelty route, the Good Humor type bars and your bomb pops, which are very easy. It's just a package and you take it out of the freezer. Or there's the soft serve route, which is cheaper per unit and you could do custom flavors. I think it'd be kind of cool to maybe have a standard flavor and something completely crazy and possibly inedible. But we're not quite at that level.
I might say probably inedible.
Well, we'll see.
Not that I'm doubting your skills, Storm.
And it would probably be a rotating thing. If we did soft serve, you'd have an always edible ice cream, and along the way, maybe some experiments.
Well, if you can somehow perfect the pickled flavored ice cream, you might really be able to tap into the pregnant market.
I think you got something there. You might have to consider that.
That's a whole untapped market we didn't even think about.
Yeah.
We're really opening our eyes here.
Ideas. Okay, Paul. I've got two questions. I'm going to start with Paul for this one. So, is there anyone out there? I mean, just you could shoot the moon. Anyone you can point and shoot. Say, I want this person that you haven't had a chance to do a collaboration or work with that you would really like to.
Oh man. Well, I know Storm has a good answer for this one.
Okay.
If I could defer to Storm because his answer is inevitably better than anything I could come up with. But we'll both give answers because I just thought of one. So for me, it is on the in the realm of incredibly unlikely. But Tom Lehrer is. I grew up listening to Tom Lehrer records, and he was incredibly important in the formation of my sense of humor and my perception of the world, not to mention my love of music and particularly of comedy music. And he is still around, and he's still, I'm not sure if he is retired yet. I know he's been a professor of math at both Harvard and University of California at Santa Cruz. And that is probably the dream collaboration that will never, ever happen because he's written, I think, maybe 3 songs since his whole heyday in the mid-'60s. But I would love for that to happen myself.
Yeah, and I'll say first I'll say it's a hard question because we've actually been able to collaborate with a lot of our heroes along the way. So, but for me, it's easy. Paul McCartney. I don't think that's at all possible or reasonable or rational. But if we're talking dreams, he is absolutely the musician that I feel like would just be. He was so important to me musically, and I think my entire psychology, the music that he wrote, not just with the Beatles, but his solo work and with Wings, and it would just be so delightful to meet and work with him. Of course, the work session would probably be him doing a song in all of 10 seconds and me staring at him going, oh my God, it's Paul McCartney. But still, I think that would be terrific.
Okay, so we'll go back. We'll start with Paul again on this last question, and this is kind of staying in the same train of thought. So don't think about funding or whether you'd have time to do it or anything. If there is just a dream project of any form, like any medium that you haven't done or anything that you truly would want to do, what would it be?
Life-size Buckingham Palace 1-to-1 scale bouncy castle.
Wow.
That was easy. What else you got?
I love it. Storm, what do you got?
Giant robots, man. Giant robots.
Giant robots. I think
keep your giant robots away from my bouncy castle. It's fragile.
Well, you can make your bouncy castle indestructible or something. That's
okay.
allowed.
That's true. We're okay. Then indestructible. I revised my answer to indestructible bouncy castle.
But I really feel like what we're doing with the Kickstarter are a bunch of projects that are fantasy projects, like doing an animated holiday special, writing an app that we're actually interested in, touring the country in an ice cream truck. These are all dream things for us.
Yeah.
Oh no,
And we don't know when on Tuesday this comes out, so I'm not going to super spoil it, but I think we can say safely that our next stretch goal, which should be out by the time this goes up, is a project called the Paul and Stormonomicon, which will be a collection of short stories and writings and illustrations from a whole bunch of pretty prominent sci-fi and fantasy authors. I won't say who yet, just in case this podcast comes out before we make the announcement of the actual list, but you can check the Kickstarter out. We'll announce it by the end of Tuesday, I think, who's involved. It's pretty awesome. I sort of can't believe some of the people we've got convinced to take part in it.
It'll be 7 or 8 p.m. Pacific.
Okay.
At least, so.
I'll tell you
That's enough of a teaser, though. Oh, go ahead, Storm.
Yeah, we will send you. Actually, I'm sending it to you right now. The list of people who are confirmed for this Paul and Stormonomicon, and then afterwards we can see about
Yes.
if those names can be dropped.
Yeah, you can't say those names out loud, but people can listen to your reaction to reading the list if you like.
Wow. Oh wow. Okay, I really hope it gets announced by the time the podcast comes out because I want to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, we will let you know.
Perfect. I think that's pretty much it. I'm really psyched about the how much you have raised already and all the stretch goals and everything. And I know it's going to be amazing. I know your fans are going to love it. And I really appreciate you guys coming on with me today.
Absolutely. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Thank you guys very much. So that now you can see us again. Yay! There was no video on that, so we spare you having to look at us for a little while.
Well, I stuffed my face and played video games.
Yeah, I was playing. Matter of fact, I was playing the game I'm going to be talking about here in a minute because it's really addicting. Okay, so that was the incomparable Paul and Storm, and we are going to immediately segue into their Kickstarter because, wow, this thing is just awesome. Like they're like, let's make a CD and do a whole bunch of really fun, cool stuff to go along with it. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, they shot me that list and I looked at it. So I knew a couple of days before you guys who was on this list. And I have noted that it is public knowledge at this point. So I'm just going to real quickly run down the list of people involved with the Paul and Stormonomicon. We have the following authors, and you know what? I'm simply just going to shoot down a list of names here. You will recognize some of them for sure. We've got James S.A. Corey, Lev Grossman, Mikey Newman, Patrick Rothfuss, John Scalzi, and Scott Sigler have been announced so far just for the authors. The illustrations on this, we've got Bill Ammond, Scott Johnson, Len Peralta, Chris Straub, Zach Weiner, Annie Wu, Will Wheaton, and Neil Gaiman. Gaiman.
You screw that up every time you see his name.
I'm just glad I didn't screw up your name this week. Baby steps here, baby steps.
That the Neil Gaiman name, I think that's kind of the biggest coup on that list. That's a gigantic name.
Yeah, and that was the last one. I find it funny how just in the list of names, he's just at the bottom. But I think it's kind of like when they give you the credits in the opening credits, it's like da 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 da, and so it's
Yeah. Here's a giant name. Boom. If I remember correctly, did I not hear that he's involved with Doctor Who now too, or something? I feel like he's writing an episode of Doctor Who now.
I actually did hear that. Yes.
It's just crazy so much he's doing.
Yeah, it's so just to give you a few stats as of this announcement here, we got 9 days left. So if you're trying to wait to the last minute, we're getting there. We're getting there real quick here. They have raised $69,629 as of right now. So they've definitely funded it. The funding was $25,000, but I want Anomicon help, because I don't have $10,371 personally that I can use to back this. So I need you guys to help. They've got a ton of stuff here. What?
Although if I had 10,000, I would totally drop it on there because that $10,000 prize is amazing.
Isn't it?
Oh my gosh, the $10,000 backer reward is like, hey, Paul and Storm are gonna come to your house. They're gonna do an acoustic show for you, and they're gonna make dinner for you and 5 friends.
And I believe
really?
I believe what they actually are promising. Not only are they going to make you dinner, they're going to promise that dinner will be damn tasty.
Yes. I'm sure there'll be some guacamole in there. Oh man, this is a cool. See, these are the kind of guys I don't mind when they're a known name, because they're not hugely famous, but they're well known enough. I don't have a problem with them doing a Kickstarter for a CD, because I know these guys are, people that are just busting their chops to do what they can and do stuff that they like, and that they hope other people like. So.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. These when it was presented to me the opportunity to actually interview them, for one, just the nerd part of me just was like, what? I get to interview Paul and Storm?
Like, yeah, you offered me to be a co-host for this, and I'm like, why, God, why do I have to have family stuff today? Damn it!
I know, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, everyone was booked. It was kind of one of those things that got thrown together at the last second. But I rearranged everything. And at this point, I want to actually take a shot here mid-show. I want to thank Carl Warina for actually coming out, and he specially took time to engineer that and make sure that it actually sounded good, probably a lot better than I normally would sound. So Carl is awesome, and I thank him for actually driving out. He drove out to get this taken care of, and he's an awesome guy. So thank you, Carl. So that's your Kickstarter. So go there, Ball Pit, give them money, please.
Lots and lots of money.
Lots of money. Even if you can't have lots of money, we'll take little money, because little money better than no money.
Tell your friends to give little money. If you can only give little money, tell all your friends to give little money too.
And I'll be honest,
that becomes lots of money.
I'm a little concerned about the whole guacamole truck thing, considering that they're sitting at around just under 70,000, and they need 350,000 to get to the guacamole and ice cream truck. But if you happen to know a rich benefactor who likes comedy music, there's not really a level over 10,000, but I think they could find something.
Yeah, maybe you get your own show on Geek and Zunder. They got the connections.
Yeah, they've got some stroke, but yeah, I mean, and we talk about these huge rewards that are fun, but I mean, really, you can get stuff for lots of things. I mean, the digital download of it is a whole $12, and it goes from there. This is good music. Support these guys. If you've not seen some of their videos, they're I don't want to call them up and comers, because I don't feel like that's a true statement. They've been doing this a really long time, and they are well known, but they're getting more well known. And this is one of those bands you want to be like, yeah, I remember listening to them before they were huge, like all hype comedy music huge, because everyone knows who Weird Al is. He's unfortunately the guy you kind of always have to measure against.
Yeah, I mean,
just because he commercialized so much.
Yeah, exactly. I think Eat It may be just as well known as Beat It. You know.
Oh yeah.
What was it? Amish Paradise.
Oh,
You know, I think that's more well known than Gangsta Paradise.
it really is, and I like Weird Al's music. I don't know if he necessarily always puts out the best comedy music, but he knows how to market it. He knows how to get it out there and get people listening to it, because it's one of those, I don't care if it's the best music in the world. If no one listens to it, I mean, then no one's listening to it. You got to be able to get it out there. So we are doing our part to spread the Pollen Storm name. You can always go to pollenstorm.com as well and find out about all sorts of stuff that they are doing. Follow them on Twitter at Pollenstorm. Pretty much just search for Pollenstorm anywhere on the internet. You're going to find them.
And follow them on Twitter, definitely, because they are absolutely hilarious.
Oh
on
yeah.
Twitter.
Oh yeah. They are awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about what we've been playing here. You know what? I pretty much have a guest first policy on this one. So Pat, it's all you.
I've actually been a busy little beaver. I've played quite a bit lately. I played through the new Legend of Zelda for the 3DS, A Link Between Worlds. Impressed with it, other than kind of short. And I pretty much 100%ed the game. So it was... So, yeah, I think it took me about less than a week to do that. So that kind of bummed me out that it wasn't quite longer, but I also kind of consumed it pretty heavily. Also playing Lego Marvel, which is like seriously on my TV right to my right-hand side. I was playing during the Pollen Storm interview while I listened. And then I also was super happy to get the email this morning that I am now in the Hearthstone beta. Yay!
Yay! Wait. There we go. That's the better sound effect.
Definitely, yeah. And Hearthstone's just, it's a ton of fun. It's really just it's a fast-paced card game that, you know, it's World of Warcraft themed. I'm really liking it. Obviously, can't talk about it too much. Although I don't think I had signed an NDA, so.
Wait, for Hearthstone?
Yeah.
Oh, I talk about it all the time. This is all public knowledge. Yeah, you
right. I was thinking about that. I'm like, I don't think there was an NDA on that. So
no, I mean they were dissecting it at BlizzCon. So yeah, you can say anything you want about it. Yeah, I've been playing a crap ton of that as well. I love the game. I mean, it seemed very simplistic at first, but now that I've really gotten into it, it's not. It's not. There's a lot of strategy. It is complex. It's maybe not as complex as Magic, but few games are. And just because it's not as complex doesn't mean it's not as good. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you can see that there's a lot of strategy and deck building and things like that that'll come in later. I mean, I literally just played like maybe 3 or 4 hours today, if I even played that much. So, but that, you know, it's just, you can tell that there's a lot of cool stuff to it, and once you get really heavy into deck building and figuring out what class you're going to play, I think that's when it gets really crazy.
It does. I love the system to be able to acquire cards. There's part of me that likes and dislikes the fact that you're limited to 2 of a card in Constructed and 1 if it's legendary. It makes it easier to be able to get the cards you need. It's fun. I've played quite a bit of both Constructed and the Arena. So, yeah, you have to keep playing, and at some point we'll play. We'll get on there. We'll play a little Hearthstone.
Definitely. It'll be a ton of fun when I roll you.
I'm sorry. What are you using to roll me with?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think so. And now it's shit talking with Pat and Scott. Okay, so I've been playing a game called Puzzles and Dragons, and I have talked about this game a little bit. I talked about it 2 weeks ago, and if you're seeing the video, I'm holding, well, sort of. If you can get past the glare, That's the game I'm playing right there. So if your audio, I apologize. So it's kind of Bejeweled-esque in that you match up the various orbs, and by doing orbs, monsters of that same type deal damage. It's got certain Pokemon-esque principles, like things having resistance and weakness to other ones, like fire beats wood, wood beats water, water beats fire, light beats dark, and dark beats light. I know that sounds counterintuitive a little bit there, but yeah, they if you're playing, if there's a bunch of dark monsters, you want to play a bunch of light monsters, and if there's a bunch of light monsters, you want to play a bunch of dark monsters. And you go along and you evolve your monsters, you level them up and evolve them up, and it's about constructing a team. And I have been addicted to this. It's frankly, I think it's pissing the girlfriend off how much I've been addicted to it. She's like, are you gonna ever put that thing down? I'm like, well, yeah, at some point.
Not anytime soon. Pardon me while I look down. If you're watching video, I downloaded it and was setting up the game.
Well, that was more for me.
Failing with the girlfriend.
Yeah, that's for downloading it. No, it's a fun game. I really enjoy it. Just be careful. There are add-ons. You can buy magic stones, and there will be times you will want to. And I believe 2 weeks ago I said that I would never buy a magic stone.
Oh, Scott.
I have lied.
Oh, you're buying add-ons in Candy Crush too, weren't you?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I've gone nuts, but man, they have this one thing called the Rare Egg Machine. It takes 5 magic stones, and if you wait for them to put out a Godfest, when the rates are higher, which is once every like 3 or 4 weeks, you can get some good monsters. So I don't mind giving them a little bit of money, because here's the thing. They've put out a game which I enjoy, and I'm getting value out of it. And I don't mind rewarding the developers for putting out a game like that. So, I mean, you've got to be careful how much you reward them for putting out a game like that. But yeah, I don't mind giving them a few bucks here.
Yeah, and microtransaction games. I mean, when the game's free and all these things, it's like, it's nice, but it's just, yeah, you have to be really careful, because and you know, always know the developer, that you know that it's someone trustworthy. I mean, if it's on the Apple Store, it's a little more likely to be trustworthy than Android Market, because Android Market doesn't take as much to get on. Apple's very strict about who they put on the store, so which is nice, but it's just, yeah, the microtransactions, they just beat you to death. It's like, oh, it's $1. Oh, it's $1. Oh wait, I did that 200 times in the past month and a half. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we've discussed microtransactions before here. They need, at some point, they need to, like, when you're going to buy, they need to say something like, you have spent X dollars on this app up to this point. Are you really sure you want to spend more? That or there needs to be like a threshold by which, once you've spent Y dollars, like, you either get them at a discount or it unlocks a quote unquote like super free mode where,
well, that's it's like being able to buy subscriptions to get certain things.
Yeah, exactly. We're done?
No. Okay.
I guess we're done. I'm looking at my agenda. It's empty. So
empty agendas are a good thing.
I do. I like it. And this was a fun show. I love having you on. I know you've been busy with work lately, so but certainly you're welcome just about any time.
Oh yeah, you ask me enough, and I've felt bad like past few times. It's been like, oh, been sick and I've been this and I've been that. And I'm like, like he needs somebody. I'm doing it. I don't care what. I'm doing it tonight.
Well, it's holiday time. I get how that works. So people are busy. So I want to thank you for definitely taking time out. I know you've got a sick young in there, so I really appreciate you taking the time, especially holiday time. Another thanks to Carl for doing the engineering on the interview. I really appreciate that. Everyone else who provides input, feedback, everything. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at The Gamers Dome. Follow us on Facebook, The Gamers Dome. I'm sure you want to plug real fast.
Oh yeah, at Digital Nerdage and Facebook.com/Digital Nerdage. One day I'll actually be able to say that quickly because it's just a mouthful.
So until next week, this is Scott Gerhardt for The Gamers Dome, and we have Pat there. And keep playing, everyone. Good night.